Hi everyone, and welcome to my new series called The Investor's Blueprint. If you're looking to start your journey in property investment, or if you're already in property investment, then this is perfect for you because I ask very experienced property investors about what their journey was like, what mistakes they made, and the current projects they've got ongoing while showing you around all of the projects. Now, I might have copied Homes Under the Hammer a little bit, but I'm trying to put my own twist on it. So if you have any questions you'd like me to ask future investors, then please feel free to drop a comment below and I'll definitely take it on board. Now in this video, I go to Justin and Ray Ingrey's project. Now Justin and Ray are just veteran HMO conversion specialists. They have a property portfolio of over 20 HMOs and these guys mean business. They're also my mentors and they've taught me everything I know about HMO conversions, and I could not be more grateful to have them as mentors. So I asked them all the questions about their journey, everything about the HMO, I show you around it, and I really hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed filming it. Let's get to the video. So today I'm visiting Justin and Ray Ingrey's project. They are HMO investors based in Nottingham. So Justin, tell me a little bit about your project.
Thank you. So this project that we're currently studying is a 6-bedroom HMO on the outskirts of Article 4 in Nottingham. When we purchased it, it was actually a 4-bedroom house. And yeah, we're going to turn this into a 6-bed HMO. It's going to have a loft conversion. 4 of the bedrooms are going to be studio style and 2 of the bedrooms are going to be double en suites. And this is going to be a really nice spec. There's a lot of demand in this area. We invest in this area a lot. So yeah, it's one of our goldmine areas. So any project that comes up here, then we're always open to buying.
Nice one, mate. And how did you find it?
So this was a pretty easy one, to be honest. This one was just on the market, and because we know our criteria really well, we knew it would work straight away. It was pretty expensive, but yeah, we own another property on the same street, so as we was refurbing that property, we've seen this one go up for sale, so we've seen a for sale sign outside. So yeah, come and viewed it, and then the agents who was marketing this property are actually around the corner on the high street. So we viewed it, walked round to the agents, put in an offer that we knew would work for us, and yeah, it got accepted within the same week, so really easy.
How did you manage to finance this project?
So this project is actually financed between, it's a mixture of angel finance and also a bridge. So yeah, we had to raise angel finance for the deposit for the bridge, and then on the bridge we borrow 60% of the purchase price and 100% of the refurbishment cost. So in total on the bridging company we've got a loan of 160%, which is 60% of the purchase and 100% of the refurb, and then the rest of it was financed through angel funds.
How much is the overall renovation costs? If you want to do like just a full breakdown of the numbers, that would be great as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was actually on the market for £185,000, and because we're good negotiators, we actually negotiated this and got it accepted at £186,000, which is above market value. It's not above market value.
That's my mentor saying that as well. What am I going to learn?
No, so here's the thing. We knew the numbers worked for us, right? And there was a lot of competition on this property. So yeah, we got it accepted at £186,000. The refurb is costing us, to start with, it's around 140, but we have had a few variations, like we've had to have the roof redone and a few other bits. So yeah, refurb's coming in at around 145 to 150, and this will revalue around £480,000, but it will net, well, it will gross income will be around 48 to 50,000 pound, and yeah, it will net around 18 to 20,000 pound per year.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Why do you choose HMOs over any other strategy?
So for us, we chose HMOs because when we first started, we got into rent to rent, and rent to service accommodation was not really a big thing 5 or 6 years ago. Service accommodation was not really as big as it is now. So it was HMOs. We got into rent to HMO, and we built quite a large portfolio in Nottingham.
Yeah.
So we just knew HMOs like the back of our hands, and we knew what the tenants wanted, we knew where they wanted to live. So it was just quite an easy progression from rent to HMO to then purchasing HMOs. Yeah, it just became bread and butter for us, and yeah, we do a lot now.
Yeah, stick with what you know, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned earlier about a gold mine area. What
Yeah.
does it take for you to say, right, this is a gold mine area and we're sticking to it, we're going to attack it?
Good question. So for us, we like to be local, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, especially people who are down south, they can't really invest in the area because the yields just are not that good. But here in the Midlands, in Nottingham, the yields are really well. The capital appreciation is really good. So yeah, we just really want to be close to home. We know Nottingham a lot. We know all the areas, all the ins and outs. The only problem we've got here is Article 4, right? So we can't just buy a normal house and convert it into a HMO. You need planning permission, and unfortunately in this area, the councils are just reluctant to accept any planning permission. So what our strategy is here is to invest on the outskirts of Article 4. So we don't need planning permission just to convert a normal house into a 6-bedroom HMO.
So now let's go around the property.
Yep.
You show me what is going to happen to the property, what's been done,
Yep.
everything that the rooms are going to be, and yeah, just an outline of what this project really is.
Yeah, let's go take a look around the rooms. I'll show you what's going on in each room. But also, what's going to be even more important is Scott is going to come back when the project has finished. Now,
Yeah,
we gave
absolutely.
Scott our promise, so you'll be able to see what it's like as a building site now compared
Yeah.
to what it's like when tenants start moving in.
And what's good as well is, I'm pretty sure you bring premium stock, don't you? Top of the top, best of the best.
Yeah,
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we bring some. Yeah, we bring some really nice rooms to the
Something
area.
will hold you to that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, me
And
too,
something
yeah.
that I would want to live in.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm talking like the Ritz. Yeah.
Oh, me. Like we have gold taps and everything. Yeah, gold
toilets.
taps. Yeah.
Okay, we're outside the project just now. We're going to do a little house tour. Justin's going to take us through everything that's going to happen to the project. So let's get started, yeah?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Sweet.
So this is the communal entrance. This is going to be the main entrance into the house, and then the first room as we enter on the left. This is actually a studio style bedroom. So studio styles are it's a pretty new concept to HMOs, if I'm honest, and I don't see many people doing them. So within every council, they'll let you know how big a bedroom needs to be to have a kitchenette in there. So that's exactly what a studio style room is. So it's just a normal bedroom with kitchen facilities. So in this room, the kitchen facilities are going to run along there. We're going to have the bed there. We've got a built-in wardrobe here, and we've got an ensuite behind you.
Why do you choose studios over a bunch of double en-suites, for example?
Yeah.
What made you make that decision?
We made that decision mainly through COVID, if I'm going to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's the main reason, but through COVID, not many people wanted to share the facilities. So it's kind of like a mini flat for the tenants, and I see them as recession proof, right? If a bit of a recession does come to England, which I do see it happening, the people who are in flats currently, they're covering all the bills and they're having to pay for the furniture. So this is just a bit of a downgrade from one of them, where we cover the bills and they're all furnished as well. So we get a lot of rent for studio style bedrooms as well, which affects our GDV. But also it allows us to be more creative within the house, because if we didn't have kitchenettes in the rooms, the communal space would have to be bigger. So because we are creating mini flats and we are creating studio style bedrooms, we only need that quite a small communal, because the people who have got kitchens do not need to be sharing that space. So it works really well. And also feedback from the tenants, right? As soon as we put this on the market, the first rooms to go are always a studio style bedrooms. Yeah, they all want kitchens in the bedrooms, so they're pretty spoiled.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so this is Studio 1, and then now we are going to go through to the communal kitchen. So this is going to be the communal kitchen. So we've got a square kitchen here. It's going to run along the wall that you're currently looking at. The window to the right is going to be turned into a door, so that's going to be a secondary exit for the tenants. Right here we're going to have a breakfast bar, and we're going to have a TV on the wall, so it's a bit of like a chilling out area for the tenants. And there's only going to be 2 tenants sharing this space, which is why it's pretty small, because the rest of them have got kitchens in their rooms. So yeah.
Perfect. Right, what's through here then?
So this is studio number 2, and this is a pretty good size. Again, very standard layout for us. So to the right we've got a built-in wardrobe. Where we're currently stood, this is actually going to be the sleeping area, and then through here we'll go through to the kitchen and also the ensuite. So this is the ensuite to the back, and then this area here is going to be the kitchen area.
Nice one. Are you going to keep that toilet, eh?
Yeah, that's brand new. Never been used. There's actually something at the bottom of it.
I mean, I don't even want to look at it.
So, as we move upstairs, we're going into the third bedroom of the house. Now, this is just a small double ensuite room. So there's only 2 ensuite rooms in this house. The rest of them have got kitchens. This is one that hasn't. We're going to have the bed here. We're going to have a TV on the wall here, and we've also got a built-in wardrobe there for storage for the tenants.
Nice one, mate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, on to the next one.
This is the other bedroom, which has not got kitchen facilities, but we have got a built-in wardrobe there, and we've got an ensuite room there. So the room that we've just been in and the room that we stood in are the only 2 which are going to be using the communal kitchen downstairs. So as we come through here, this is going to be the kitchen facilities. And what we do like to do within our studio bedrooms is separate. We have a wall separating the kitchen from the living area. Because then it is a bit like a mini flat. And
so you put that wall in?
Yeah, we put that wall in, yeah. And the reason we've done that is because just feedback from the tenants. They've told us that they would much prefer not to cook where they're going to be sleeping. So we just like to separate the 2 from each other. So this is the kitchen, this is the ensuite, and then behind you is the living area.
I take it every time you rent out a HMO, you just ask the tenants a bunch of questions, what's good, what's bad, and then you implement that onto the next project.
Yeah, we always get feedback, right?
Yeah.
So when we have any tenants leave any of our HMOs, we ask them why, and some of them might just be relocating to another area, or some of them will give us some really good feedback.
Yeah.
They might say the bedroom's too small, they might say we needed more storage. Yeah, so we're always looking for feedback for tenants because we're always looking to improve our rooms.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, man. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, we're spending a lot of money on these houses.
Yeah.
So we've always got the end consumer in mind. So yeah, we're just very experienced with our tenants now and always asking questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, let's go up to the 3rd floor.
So before we go up, it's very dark up here. Yeah.
Okay.
It's super dark, but this is a big studio.
Yeah.
This was not here before, so there was no loft conversion whatsoever. So we've converted this ourselves.
Yeah.
There's no stairs there. We have put a dormer on the rear as well. But what I am going to do, I'm going to have to put the flash on my iPhone.
I'll put it on mine as well.
We'll be fine. Yeah.
Hi, I really hope you're enjoying the video so far, and if you're enjoying watching this exact kind of strategy and you want to invest yourself but you don't have the time, energy or the experience, leave a comment below saying invest and I will get in touch, because my company Think Property actually does this for people. We deal package these exact kind of deals for investors so they don't have to do any of the hard work involved. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, right, this is the top floor. This is a full-on attic conversion, yeah?
Yeah, this is a full-on loft conversion. So where you're currently stored, this used to be the old pitch, and we've created a dormer, so we've got a flat roof above here. And yeah, this is going to be the living area. So it's a nice size area, and again what we've tried to do here is separate it from the kitchen, but we're going to have the bed here, we've got some nice lights next to the bed, and then we've got like a desk area here. We're going to have a TV up on the wall, so this is going to be a nice little area where they can study if that's what they want to do.
Perfect. So like for each project, do you look for a loft that's not been converted and you just want to go and attack it? Is that what you one of your criteria?
Not always a loft. We look for space,
and
where we can create space. To create these 6-bedroom HMOs, our minimum requirement is around 130 square meters.
Okay.
So if we're viewing a house and it's 100 square meters, the first thing our mind's looking is where's the next 30 square meters coming from. So that can either be an extension, maybe a 30 square meter extension under permitted development rights, or we can sometimes go into the loft. And when we do go into the loft, we create so much space. So it's always something that we're looking for on viewings. We're always jumping into the loft and measuring it and seeing what we can create.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Will we be able to see what's around there?
Yeah, so this is going to be the kitchen area.
Yeah.
Again, brand new toilet installed.
Perfect.
Yeah, state of the art.
I'm not even looking at that
one. Yeah, I won't want to use that if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, this is going to be the kitchen area around here, and then this is going to be the ensuite.
If you were to give any bit of advice to someone that was going to start getting into HMOs, because they might be doing buy-to-lets and flips and stuff like that, but HMOs seem a bit scary. That's the position that I was in. I was wanting to do it all last year, I was too scared to get into HMOs until I met you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that's wanting to take the leap into HMOs for the first time?
My advice, this is going to sound like very simple advice, right? But just take the plunge, because I feel like that's what holds people back, because you don't know something until you actually do it.
Yeah.
Now, you can learn as much information from YouTube, books and videos as possible, right? But you've got to get the experience. So I would just say, make sure you're 100% sure on your numbers. You've always got to take a little bit of risk, and then just take the plunge and just go for it and see how the deal turns out. Protect yourself at all times, so make sure you've got multiple exits, and that way you're always going to be covered. So that'll be my advice. Just do it, take the plunge and gain the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, he's also my mentor.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a massive thing. Like, a mentor is someone that's done it like for years before. They know all the ins and outs, made all the mistakes, and it saves you making like loads of mistakes. And I think that's definitely a massive thing that helps getting into the journey. But at the start of my journey, I was like a entrepreneur. I was doing all the YouTube and everything like that, TikToks, and just watching everything but never doing it. But so just taking the plunge and going for it is always the best way of doing it, isn't it?
It is the best way of doing it, yeah. And like, there's so many people who look into so many different strategies, and I just feel like they start to become a distraction. And a lot of times you'll get a lot of opportunities within loads of different strategies, but the opportunities will be disguised as distractions. So as long as you're like focused on one strategy, all of your time and attention is going into there, then I don't think you can go too wrong. But what I do want to say is it's 15th of January, and like Scott said, he is one of our mentees. So Scott's been with us for 15 days so far. So if you're watching this video in 2025, the 15th of January, you'll see Scott's results. Now his results are he's gonna skyrocket and he's gonna progress really well. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll be documenting all of it on Instagram and stuff. I set goals and I thought they were high, and then he came along and he was like, nah, fuck that, we're gonna go way higher.
Well, that's the thing when you're setting goals, right? You only know what you know, and it's like you don't know what's achievable, you don't know what's possible. So that's why I think it's so important to be around people who have achieved some like really high goals, because you know, if they've done it, you can do it as well. And that's why when I go through goal setting with all of my mentees, their goals are always really small, so I always really want to push them out of the comfort zone, and that comes from experience because we've done it ourselves. So yeah, that's why I like to set big goals.
From start to finish, from finding the property on Rightmove to putting it on the market, getting it tenanted. If you want to do like a breakdown of the steps, like what the process is for that, for someone that's wanting to get started in HMOs, that'd be amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. So as soon as we have something accepted, we really want to push the conveyance along as quick as possible. So one of the first things we do is instruct our architect. We need to get the architect in here in day one, because we need to know the vision that we seen when we viewed the property. We can actually get that. So the best way to do that is to get an architect in to confirm what we seen is we can create. So as soon as the architect's been in, obviously the solicitors are pushing the sale along. We then instruct a broker once we've got build quotes. As soon as the lending starts, then we start getting builders prepared for the build, and then bring conveyance in around 12 to 14 weeks, and then as soon as it's completed, we get the builders on in the project on day one, and the build takes around 14 to 16 weeks, and then we start refinancing. So if you get something accepted, conveyancing for a few months and the build for a few months, and then it might take a month or two to refinance. So you are looking around 7 to 8 months in total from getting it accepted.
Yeah, so that's pretty quick when you have a few projects on the go as well, though.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be like a rolling conveyor belt of projects, wouldn't it?
That's exactly what it is, yeah. And that's why it's just so important to just be on top of everything and have the right systems and processes. So we've currently got 4 HMOs in refurb, and we've got 2 which are completing very soon. So soon we'll have 6 in refurb. And if we didn't have the right processes and systems in place, oh man, we'd be stressed. We'd be very stressed.
You and Ray obviously are the 2 people in charge of everything in your company, right? So what is it that you do, what is it that Ray does, and why is it good to, say, have a business partner?
Oh man, it's so important to have a business partner, and I couldn't do this without Ray, because like my personality type and what I work on, I just couldn't do what she does. So so for me, my main role within the company is I'm creative, right, and I work on the growth. So it's always me getting deals through, finding deals, negotiating deals, doing the numbers, being on top of the refurb. And I create a lot of shit, if I'm going to be honest with you. While I'm doing that, I'm leaving a lot of shit behind me, and it's Ray who sorts all this shit out. So yeah, Ray's on top of the accounts, solicitors, the ongoing management of the project. She keeps on top of like the project management and stuff as well. So yeah, we've really streamlined it, and we really know what our roles and responsibilities are within the company. But the only how to know what your roles and responsibilities are is to just get in the trenches and just start doing it right, and then you start figuring it out along the way, rather than trying to make it all perfect before. You've just got to get in there and then start figuring it out.
If you were to invest £10,000 today, you're starting out and you had to start all over again, you had 10 grand in the bank saved up, you've worked really hard, 9 to 5, and you only had that 10 grand, what would you do with it?
What would I do with it? So I would invest it in the biggest asset we have, which is
education.
Ourselves, 100%. Yeah, I would invest it in ourselves. That's always going to be the biggest investment you make. No matter where you get to on your journey in property, right? You always need to keep reinvesting in yourself and keep taking your knowledge to the next step. So my advice would always be to get a mentor, but not just any mentor. Find someone who's really successful in the strategy that you want to do, but also someone who's 5 years ahead of where you want to get to. The reason I say 5 years is because if you get someone who's been in the game a very long time and they're 20 to 30 years ahead of where you want to get to, the problems that you're going to come up, they've been through them problems years and years ago, and they kind of forget what the solution was. So if you find a mentor who's 5 years ahead of you, then these are probably going through the same problems that you're going to get through. So you're going to go through. So it's yeah, they're going to know the best way to tackle them and the best solutions for them.
Prior to getting into HMOs, what were you guys doing, and what was that, you know, like the epiphany moment, you know what, I'm going to go into property full time?
Yeah.
What was that moment?
So, well, I used to be an electrician, and Ray used to be a maths teacher, and I was actually working down London for years and years, and I was lodging away, and yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like how the bosses were. I didn't like how they treated us, the long hours, and yeah, Ray wasn't really the biggest fan of being a maths teacher. She used to come home and say, "Oh, I've had enough of that hellhole." That's what she used to call it, the hellhole. So yeah, I think the biggest turning point was Ray's dad got ill and he needed an operation on his brain, and she needed a lot of time off to be with him to make sure it was obviously okay. And yeah, when she asked the school whether she could have that time off, I think they said to her, you can have an afternoon off. An afternoon, I know. Yeah. So that was a turning point, and I can remember it. We sat at a car wash, and I said to Ray, "This thing called rent to HMO, where you can rent a property off a landlord, and then you can make money on it, and this is going to get us out of our jobs." Yeah. And I had to sort of like turn into a salesman and sell Ray the dream. And yeah, there was many times along the way that we wanted to quit, and yeah, we just pursued it.
It was probably just the lack of control, wasn't it? Like, see, when you ask for a day off and you get an afternoon or a prolonged period of time off, you're not in control. You have to like essentially put your hands together and beg.
Yeah. Whereas
now you can be like, you know what, I'm having this Tuesday afternoon off. I'm doing what I want. Yeah. You know, I mean, obviously, they've still got a lot of time-consuming stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think being in control is a massive factor.
Yeah, it is. Like, we want a time freedom more than money freedom. But yeah, having a boss tell us what to do and dictate the way that we wanted to live just didn't really sit well with us. But I do think it's also important to have that there sometimes, right? We was on about this earlier. If you've got a bit of pain which is like pushing you towards getting out of it, then that's so important. So I'm actually like really grateful that I'd gone through all of that.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier how pain is a much bigger driver than pleasure. Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying earlier, if I had to run 5 marathons in a day and someone said you get a Range Rover by the end of it, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. But if you put a gun to the family member's head, the fear is just a massive trigger, and you can just go for it. And if you're running away from something, it's definitely a bigger motivator day to day than the pleasure. Right?
Yeah. Your mind does whatever it takes to get out of pain, but when it comes to pleasure, you can sort of give up and be like, shit, is it even worth it? Do I actually want that Range Rover? Yeah. For me, I'd fucking run 10 marathons for a Range Rover, by the way. So, yeah.
For the next 5 years, 10 years, you've always got on me for setting goals.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard your goals. Now, unless it's in the millions, possibly billions. What's the goal? Are you planning on expanding across the country? Are you planning on just keeping doing what you're doing, changing strategies? What's the ultimate goal for you guys?
Yeah, so this is where we're kind of a bit of a crossroads, right? Because we know what we want in terms of personal goals, in terms of like building our house in the countryside and having like the time freedom with our family and stuff, and that's like the overall big vision. But in terms of like what we want to achieve in business, we're kind of at the crossroads where it's like, do we go big and do we start doing developments? Or do we keep it small to what we know and just continue to build the portfolio? So I feel like we've got this big vision, and as long as we're setting the goals each year, at the start of the year, that's when we'll know it's going to be the turning point if we want to change strategy. But what we do want to do, and we do want to start focusing on, is blocks of flats. So we've already done some commercial to resi before. But yeah, over the next few years, as our long-term strategy, just for the wealth creation rather than cash flow, we are going to start focusing on building out some blocks of flats again.
When it comes to goals, like we said earlier, you did give me a kick up the arse because I was dreaming small, because in my circumstances I thought it was big. But you're like, no, this is what's actually possible. What advice would you give to someone that's going to set annual goals, weekly goals, even daily goals?
Be around the right people, because when you are setting goals, how do you know what's possible if you haven't seen someone already done it? The way that we're programmed from young is to think small. So we're always going to set goals which are too small than what we can actually achieve. So unless we've actually seen someone achieve them, then we don't know we can achieve them ourselves. People underestimate what we can actually achieve in 1, 2 or 3 years. So it's ridiculous what we can actually go for. So
I mean, I touched on it just there. I think if you do like annual goals and then 6-month, quarterly, daily goals, just like taking the days off. Like one of my goals each day is just make the bed. Like if you break it down to something you can just, so easy to achieve, like make a cup of coffee, like, you know, have a shower, get dressed, like just very simple goals. I mean, that's what I find that works for me, because then I'll think, all right, I hit 15 goals today. I know it sounds like pretty silly, but if you do that every single day, then you'll feel like you're achieving something even on quote off days.
Yeah, I would say that all falls down into discipline, right? And like having them daily disciplines is important, because there is days where you wake up and you're not motivated. So it's the disciplines which are going to get you through it. And if you haven't got them disciplines and you're not motivated, that's when people drop off. And that's when they don't go for what they actually want to achieve. So I would say, like, when we are setting these goals, you've just got to like visualize what it is you actually want and just write about it, because I feel like that's what a lot of people don't do. They're just surface level when they're writing the goals, and they're just thinking, oh, I want a nice car, or I want a nice house. But when you actually think within like 5 years, and you just write down, what does a day in the life of me look like in 5 years, and just write it as though it's already happened. Once you've got this vision, then you can work out how much you need to actually make this possible, and then that's when you can break it down over the years. And then what's more important than the yearly goals is the quarter goals. We've constantly got to be tracking, we've constantly got to be measuring, and we've constantly got to be working on new things, because it's your quarter goals which will feed into your yearly goals, which is the only way, in my opinion, that you're going to get there.
When it comes to raising finance or funding projects, if you could list the different ways that you've done, you can put your favorite or the most difficult, and even how to raise finance. You know, so some people, you can do raise angel finance or joint ventures, bridging, development finance, stuff like that. That's a big topic. If you can give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so in terms of like lending, I mean, there's angel finance and then there's lending. So when it comes to lending, that's like mortgages and bridges and stuff like that. Most of our purchases are for a bridge, but we also do raise a lot of angel finance. And for me, the best way to raise angel finance is credibility, right? We've just got to build credibility, because people have got to put trust in us to actually lend us money. And we've got to be present. We've got to be on social media. We've got to be posting all the time. That's where a lot of our funds come from. But also letting family and friends know what it is you do. Because like the opportunity we give them is insane. Like, you can't get 8% in a bank anywhere, guaranteed return each year, 10%, 12%, you just can't get that. So the opportunity we're presenting to people is, in my opinion, too good to turn down. So the more people who know what you do, the more people will invest in you, and a lot of that does come from credibility. So always posting on social media, posting what you're doing, posting what's coming up, posting what your goals are, and just get consistent before you get perfect.
Yeah, I think my frame of mind really changed when you said you're presenting opportunities, because I was like, I never really asked people for money. And I felt like, oh, I'm going to ask someone for what, 100 grand? That's insane. Like, they just spent all these years earning it, and little Scott comes along, oh, can I have that, please? You know what I mean? I was like, how do you have the audacity to do that? But then you're like, no, Scott, you're presenting the opportunity of beating inflation, getting their money working for them, and then they can use that money to reinvest again, or go on holiday, get a car, pay some debt. You know, it's the opportunity that comes along with it. That was the mindset shift for me.
Yeah, it's what they can get with that passive income. So like most people who have got savings in the bank, as you know, it's going down because inflation's going up. So the spending power of what they're saving is actually decreasing. So, and a lot of people don't know this, and that's why it's so important to be educated on finance yourself, so you can educate other people as well. But a lot of our investors are so grateful for the opportunity that they have with us, and they tell us all the time, like over Christmas, one of our investors said, thank you so much for this opportunity of like allowing me to buy my Christmas presents with the interest that you gave us. So I feel like getting the first few over the line, they're always the hardest, but then you do actually truly see the opportunity of what you're giving other people and what you're allowing them to do. So that's when you're more confident in selling the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the opportunity as well, like there's another mentee in our group that says their investor wants to go on holiday with the money. I think it was like 30,000 invested and 3,000 was the return, and then use that to go on holiday. So spending time with their kids and stuff like that. I mean, that's something I never thought would be a thing when I was going to raise finance. I thought I was just asking people for money, but that's something you could find out what their goal is and then tap into that and then then work together, essentially reach their goal and you reach your goal.
100%, 100%. And you got to figure out what it is they actually want out of it, because they might just want more money just because they want to just save more money and they've got like a future goal of 10 years, this is what I want to get, or it's going to go towards my pension pot. A lot of our investors, with the interest that they get from us, it actually pays for their mortgage. So so you can actually see them like kind of living a little bit free, so it does free up a lot of their funds that they've got because they're not paying off a mortgage, we're paying it off for them. So it's a win-win.
Right, Justin, thank you so much for answering all my questions. I did have like quite a lot. I'm sure everyone appreciated all the answers that you gave, and when it comes to this project, I'm so excited to see the end product, what value you're going to add to it, and all the premium features that you're going to bring to it, and hopefully you'll get it tenanted pretty quick, and we'll definitely do another video when it's done as well, just to show everyone the before and after footage.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming around. I feel like it will definitely be good to get you around at the end when it's finished, because then we can produce some more accurate numbers. As soon as it's done, we'll let you know, we can get you around and show you the type of product that we bring to the market.
Absolutely, mate. Right, cheers.
Thank you.